Hello, everybody. Today I want to talk about the General Lewis Inn in Lewisburg, West Virginia. It's a fantastic place to visit. It's very historic, has lots of history, and the whole town of Lewisburg is full of history. It was occupied by both the Confederate and the Union soldiers during the Civil War. Um, the church there was used as a hospital. Um, And I'll tell you a little bit more about some soldiers in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the General Lewis Inn. The General Lewis Inn is a great place to stay, especially if you love history. But even if you don't love history, it's just a really cool place. Um, it's filled with period pieces, and the beds date back to the Civil War time. I mean, they're still very comfortable, but they are very old, quaint beds. Um, I really like the place. One of the rooms upstairs is rumored to be haunted by the lady in white. When you rent this room, you can see this lady in the room. There is a big portrait of her hanging in the room. And numerous people, especially people with children, have been awakened in the middle of the night and have seen the lady in white leaning over to checking on their children and making sure they were covered up and everything. Another famous ghost at the General Lewis Inn is Reuben. He is a slave that obviously lived there before the Civil War and took care of the grounds and all of that there at the hotel. And he is still seen to this day walking around on the grounds, making sure that everything is taken care of and in place. There's rumored to be a ghost that you can run into in the bar that when you're sitting at the bar having a drink, that suddenly you will see someone sitting there beside you like they're there to have a drink with you. Several years ago, a friend of mine and I went to a conference in Lewisburg, West Virginia, so we stayed at the General Lewis Inn. It was the third time I had stayed there, but it was the first time she had stayed there. There were two locks on the door, but we only had one key. One of the locks was an older deadbolt that they no longer used anymore. And the other lock was obviously the one we had the key to. I had been telling her about the room with the portrait of the lady in white, and I told her that I wanted to take her down and show her that room. So we pulled our door shut, but we didn't lock it. The key was in my pocket. You could only lock it with a key. And we went 3 doors down to the room that is reportedly haunted by the lady in white. We were in there about 5 minutes. The General Lewis Inn, like I said, it's a very old building. It has wooden floors, a big wooden staircase that goes, between the first and second floor. And you know how older houses with wood floors sound. It's very creaky, so you can hear anybody coming when they're going up and down the stairs, and we didn't hear any of that. When we went back to our room, the door was locked, which is strange because I didn't lock it. And like I said, the key was in my pocket. So I took the key out to unlock it. And that was not the lock that was locked. It was the lock that is no longer used that was locked. So my friend went downstairs and got the guy that was working at the front desk. And she told him, said, we have a problem. And he said, that's the ghost. So he came upstairs and he explained to us that in that particular room, that people used to get locked out of the bathroom all the time. That the ghost that haunted that room is a prankster and just got a big kick out of locking people out of the bathroom. So they took the lock off the bathroom door. Since they have taken the lock off the bathroom door, the ghost has been locking people out of the room, period. He offered to let us switch rooms, but I said no, number one, because I wanted to stay and see if anything else happened. And I said, if the ghost can come in that room, it could come in any room in the hotel. My friend was horrified. She did not want to stay in that room, but we did. Unfortunately for me, fortunately for her, nothing else happened that night. But that is a little experience that we had at the General Lewis Inn, and I think that's kind of neat. Back during the Civil War, when the Union won the battle and took over Lewisburg, All the Confederate soldiers that were killed were just dumped in a ditch and covered up, just thrown into a mass grave and covered up. When the Union finally pulled out of Lewisburg, people were outraged at the way these people were buried. And they were taken up on top of a hill in Lewisburg and buried. It's still a mass grave, but it's huge, and it's in the shape of a cross. And it's surrounded by a black wrought iron fence. A very peaceful place and a much more respectful burial for the Confederate soldiers. They say that you can, at night, see soldiers walking around up there after dark, and it does have a very eerie feeling up there when you go up there and visit. I would highly recommend a trip to Lewisburg for anyone who likes spooky things. Stay at the General Lewis Inn. The church in town that was used as a hospital during the Civil War, many apparitions have been spotted there and in the churchyard right next door. And Lewisburg is just a neat place to visit anyway. My favorite time to go up there is in the fall because it's just beautiful. I'm Sherry Perry from Appalachian Spirits, Haunting, and Folklore on Facebook. If you like these stories and would like to hear more, please hit subscribe. I will try to post more videos in the near future. Thank you.